What's up, everybody? I'm K Cartoon.
I'm RX Phonics.
We are the Audio Apes. You are officially hanging with Apes, and this is a culture corner where we review culture. Today, we wanted to do this impromptu episode and give a tribute, a shout out, and discuss some of the cultural contributions that Kevin Samuels has made. We actually talked about him before on our episode 241 of the Hanging with Apes podcast. So if you want to go back to episode 241, you could check out that episode. We talked about his rise and his contribution to the Manosphere. And with the recent news that he just passed away, we thought it's only right to talk about him, his life, his work, his content, his contributions, and give you our take on that. So this morning, you woke up. I woke up. I saw the news that he had passed away. I actually first saw it from the thread of our friends.
Yeah.
And everybody was talking about it. I was like, damn. And then at first there was like that level of disbelief. But no, he indeed passed away.
And I want to say that he was trending even yesterday night to Kevin Samuels, but like I was like, oh, he probably said some.
Oh, so like something controversial.
Yeah, so I was thinking, just looking at the feed, I wasn't expecting that the next morning it would be like, oh, he passed away. And it seems it was well, they're saying that his mother found out from like the news or from the internet, and then she like inquired, and she's like, oh wow, my son's dead, and apparently it was cardiac arrest. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I guess we'll wait till there's like confirmation with that, but I found it shocking just because he was young and he looked pretty healthy. So
yeah, it was crazy to me, the idea that like there's so many people that rock with him, but at the same time there were so many people that really had like some pretty awful things to say in the wake of his death. Like, who are these people that it's like you're wishing death upon somebody, or you're happy when they die because you have a difference of opinion, you don't agree with them? That's wild to me. Like, I'll never forget, and we were talking about this earlier on the phone, I'll never forget when Trump first found out that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away. Somebody who he obviously didn't agree with anything in terms of politics, really, in the realm of politics. He didn't agree with any of that. I would imagine they would have had a lot of criticisms towards each other. But when he found out, and it's live, people could look that up. It's out there, rather. It was live when he found out that she passed away. He was getting off of a plane and he's walking. And the reporter asked, how do you feel about the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg? And he's like shocked. And he says, oh, she died. And then right off the bat, he's like, she lived an amazing life, a great career, historical, had nothing but good things to say.
it looked like an episode from a movie, like that's or like a scene from a movie. How
it played out, right?
Yeah, it was.
I think so. Yeah, yeah, that's how he responded, and I thought that's classy. It's like, all right, well, we didn't agree with each other. Obviously, her seat will be up. I'm gonna pick somebody that's different from her. But at the same time, like, yeah, I acknowledge that she was who she was, and it is what it is. But with other
never
people
any disrespect,
No.
And never did I see even on Twitter people saying, "Oh, that bitch, fuck that bitch. I'm glad she's dead. We needed a new justice."
On the right, no, because that's what I'm saying. People on the right don't act like that.
Yeah,
they don't act like that. People on the left do, though. It's like, because you had sent to our group chat, think before you sleep. He said something about the death of Kevin Samuels, and right now I guess he has some static with Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks.
Oh yeah.
His not him, but his younger, more idiotic, way more radical. I think younger cousin Hassan Piker. Have you heard of him? Hassan Piker.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Does he
he's
have his
on
own show?
Twitch. Yeah, like a Twitch show. And he's a lunatic, and I guess recently somebody pointed out "Think Before You Sleep's channel to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this guy's an incel and this and that," like just like stupid ass criticisms. But what's wild about it is in that post that you sent to the group chat, "Think Before You Sleep" points out how when Herman Cain died, Hassan Piker was pretty much like celebrating that shit. And that's how these people operate. That's how they are. It's like that's crazy. That's crazy to the idea of you celebrating somebody's death. Why? Because you don't have the logic and the reason and the capability to beat them in a debate, or you don't have the wherewithal to like circumvent the points that they make and beat them logically. You gotta just pray for their downfall or be happy when they die. And it's funny because in the Sandman video that we were watching earlier,
Oh yeah.
where he
That was a
talks
great ass
about
video.
Elon Musk buying Twitter and stuff like that. He talks about that, how look at when the playing field gets even, because that's essentially what Elon Musk is doing. It's not like he's giving the right wing an upper hand. All he's doing is, hey, we're going to level the playing field. That's all
Yeah.
this is.
Let's see what happens.
Elizabeth Warren and AOC, oh, they want the government to get involved. But why? Like, why do you want to go and call your big brother or your big sister or your dad when this is a one-on-one fight? Like, I have a point and you have a point, and yes, one of us is right and one of us is wrong. Oh
Yeah.
no! I'm gonna go get my brother. But why though? Like, all we're doing is, this is time to debate. It's a free and open stage to debate, a level playing field. But you don't like that. They don't like the level playing field, and I think that is one of the top contributions that Kevin Samuels made to the Manosphere and to society at large. Is like, well, listen, all you women got The View, you got all these shows that it's all about women empowerment, and you go slay queen, bad bitch, this, that, and all of that. And nobody's knocking it. I never said to ban those shows or censor those shows or anything. I would never
No,
advocate for that.
have your platform.
Have it, enjoy it. But the minute that somebody rises and is like, well, hey fellas, this, that, and this, like the sexual marketplace, there's an economics to it. And if you play the economics, if you play the
Yeah.
numbers, you're going to come out ahead. And then the man had data to back up what he's saying. Like right now, we live in an age where all the data is out there that puts on display that women are more unhappy than ever. They're more unhappy than ever. They're going single longer without kids. We know there's been data, been statistics out there. You could even look at the world anecdotally and see that men in their older age are more okay and accepting of being alone. Like, as long as they have their friends, you got guys, they go to the local bar, they watch the game, they might do some traveling if they got some money in their pocket. They might call a girl over, maybe it's a call girl or whatever the case. And the guys are happy, like I'm good, man. Play the game, whatever the case, if they're older. But women without like that companionship and that person that's there for them, you see, and this is not me saying this is data, statistics, and you look at the world around you, they seem less content than men are being alone at those older ages. So what does Kevin Samuels do? Is like, well, hey, I have a remedy for you. I have a recipe for
Yeah.
you. Maybe be a little bit more submissive. No. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. But then look at why you're this age and you talk about, oh, I'm successful and I got a degree. Well, guess what? When he would always say this, men don't care about that. And it's true. Like, what
Yeah.
out of all of our friends, dating or not dating, whatever the case,
The
when
questions
have you
that's
ever
coming.
heard any of us say, "Ah, bro, man, a girl with a degree, that's what I need. I need
So
like
fucking hot.
no."
Ah.
What motherfuckers say is what does she look like? How is she with you? And what that throat do?
Yes. True. No, but but you know something though, I fucked with Kevin Samuels with too. Like he brought women to the show, but like he he didn't like what's that foul ass not cool show? Oh, whatever. I mean, they do their thing. I just don't really fuck with it like that. Fresh and Fit, they bring women to their show to because it's a Miami shit. But like I felt Kevin Samuel in the Manosphere. And then there's on the other side on the like not bringing any women to the show. There's also a lot of like Manosphere shows that don't have women. I felt that what was badass about his show is he would bring women, and he would really like, all right, tell me why you think this or why this, why that, and more often than not, like it wasn't even really a debate. It was like, well, I'll just let you dig your own grave, and then I'll tell you how you dig your own grave. And so I felt
Yeah,
like, wow, that was the only show that really had that dynamic where, yeah, I'll let you talk. I'm gonna ask you questions. I'm not gonna fucking argue with you. But when you finish, I'm going to point out every little thing that doesn't make any sense, and then give you statistics. And I really appreciated that. And on another note, and this I don't know, and I'll ask you because you just like me, we watch a lot of like that content. What do you think it was about the Kevin Samuels? Because I feel like he was really kind of like took the spotlight as far as viewership. Was it? Yeah, I don't know. Like,
the
what do you think it was that gave him like kind of like the torch?
um what I think, I think that's a pretty good question and a good observation. And I only can answer this because earlier I was watching Coach Greg Adams, his tribute to Kevin
Yeah,
Samuels, and because that's what all the realists and the illists are going to be doing right now is like, damn, like,
yeah,
talk about what he contributed and how what it meant to them and how they interacted with his content and what have you. And I thought he sort of hit the nail on the head. He says he was like, look at me. He's like, I'm a guy in a t-shirt. He's like, I got toys back there, and he points to the back. He's like, I got video games back there. He's like, and I'm doing my thing. And he's like, I'm happy. He's like, what he says, he's living the free agent lifestyle. He's like, and
yeah.
I'm good with that. He's like, you got Rich Cooper. Rich Cooper, while he is very successful, he's kind of like us in the sense that it's like, well, he wears a t-shirt, he dresses down. He's not really like trying to like overly impress anybody. Kevin Samuels, and I think I think Greg Adams was kind of on point with this. He's like, Kevin Samuels wore a suit when he talked. We live in a society where people, they're like poised to respect suits. Like that means something to them.
Mm.
You and
I
I,
didn't think about
we
that.
we know different because you and I have been at a closing table of at a deal, and we're the most dressed down people there. Like, but we're the motherfuckers with the money. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So like we operate because, but then also like that's that like rap side of us, that like rap influence, that it's just like, well, yeah, like show me the money, cut me the check. That's what I'm here for. I don't care about this suit and all of that stuff like that. But your average everyday person, they respect that shit a lot. That means something to them. Oh, that's the CEO. Oh, the guy with the suit and this and that and everything like that. So Kevin Samuels, he always presented himself like that. Kevin Samuels also, I think he was the main one that displayed the notion of you got to look a certain way, you got to dress a certain part see a lot of the MGTOW, and in fact, you, me, some of our friends, Donnell and Vince and stuff, we kind of had a little bit of a discussion about this before. How like Sandman's philosophy when it comes to the manosphere is like, well, don't really try to impress women. Impress yourself. Do what makes you happy, and that's all that matters. Kevin Samuels, he took the route of like, no, like, yeah, if you want to bag chicks, like, yeah, this is how you impress them. You wear this, you wear that. I think he even had like an image consulting firm. So
Yeah, before the show, right? Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
a lot of women, they gravitate more towards that shit. Like if you notice, and so
yeah.
now, so it's like I'm gravitating, in the perspective of a woman, it's like I'm gravitating towards the look, the imagery, because that's how I want me a man. That's how I like my men to look. But then, oh shit, this motherfucker is like getting real busy about how I live my life. And so that I think was what made him so different, because nobody ever really delivered it like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, I'm the motherfucker that's telling the guys in the office, in the top office, to like, yeah, do their thing until you show you're worthy of them. And I think that's why like he was subject to so much criticism, because you got even guys that were like thought that like that Kevin Samuel was awful, because they probably work at a job with a suit or whatever, and that's the last imagery that they want women to have of them. And plus there's a lot of like white knight beta sim cucks out there too. So you had all of that. Also on top of that, which I knew, but Greg Adams pointed it out. He was talking about how, I guess, like according to like Black Twitter, Kevin Samuels made a lot of like Black women feel insecure, and so I guess like most of his vitriol and most of the criticism that people have uh, for him is coming like from like the Black Twitter community, and even more so like Black women. But isn't it kind of a thing where it's just like, well, I mean, this bitter or this harsh reality that I'm presenting to you, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to, if what you're
But
doing
not
is
only
not
that,
working.
he he didn't just talk about black women. Black men would call, and he'd give them just as much
Oh no,
criticism.
a
That
100%.
was
But the
yeah.
problem is, but the problem is, where if you notice, and we're talking strictly demographics here. I'm not. Yeah, this is not racism or anything like that. We're talking demographics. If you notice, like, men are a little bit more open to criticism. Like they're a little bit more like, all right, well, somebody could give a guy a critique, and the guy might not want to like ban the guy off of YouTube.
No.
Whereas you might give certain
Yeah.
women, not all, this is generally speaking, certain women critique, and they might have a very hard time digesting that shit. So now you look at like the demographics of like the election, the 2020 presidential election. You see that like Trump went up with everybody except Black women. Black women was like the only demographic that Trump didn't like grow with. He grew with
Yeah.
Black men, Latina women, Latino men, white women, but for whatever reason, like Black women didn't want to get on that Trump train or whatever. So sometimes certain demographics or whatever the case, they have a harder time accepting criticisms than others. And because so much of his content was geared towards the Black community, I think what Black women felt, because there's a lot of like uh like Afrocentric mindset when it comes to like dating in the Black community. It's like and you're familiar with it. It's like you got like certain people in that community. You don't really see it in a lot of other communities. You see it a little bit with the whites, but not so much. But you see it a lot more in the Black community, where it's just like certain women hate the idea of like the black men dating white women or Hispanic women or women outside of
Yeah.
that race. And maybe you do, maybe you don't like it, but at some point, do you ask yourself, well, why is that taking place? Like, what is it about the women in their own community that they don't feel good
Yeah.
dating? And Sandman has talked about that before. Sandman has talked about that before, where it's just like you see it where it's just like you got black women that'll date black men and be awful with them, but then they'll date a white man and treat him like a king. So it's just like this is some of the own
Makes no
your own
sense.
your own stuff
Yeah.
being baked into the demographics. So he didn't really talk about that much, but he did talk about, well, this is what it is if you want to make things better. And that's the thing where Coach Greg Adams said he disagreed with Kevin Samuels, and I also disagree with Kevin Samuels on this particular topic. Is the topic of they call it the hopium, where he sort of still was selling the idea that in today's day and age, like marriage
Oh yeah, yeah.
is a viable thing if you play this role, and if the men play this role and the women play that role. I tend to disagree with that. Like, honestly, like, I think in today's day and age, it's not very viable. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I don't care how successful the guy is and how submissive the woman is. It still doesn't
Yeah.
make a lot of sense to me nowadays. Like the whole idea of
It's
marriage.
and then when you start having that argument, you start to delve into socioeconomics, and when you start looking at the socioeconomic scope, it just not really. It's not what it used to be as far as the dynamic of a man and a woman. It's not. It's just not. Like, women sometimes don't even have time because they're working just as much as guys, and so that uh the sexual liberty that
Yeah.
from the 60s all the way to now to the 60s to the 2020s, um it's like it's a way different world
A
where
hundred
a lot
percent.
more is accepted on the behalf of
And
a
I'm
woman.
and I'm not of the belief that that should change. Like, you got people like, for instance, Ready Go Politics. He criticizes Reagan a lot because under Reagan, that's when like no fault divorce was pretty much implemented, which means that like people could get divorced just for like irreconcilable differences. Like before, essentially, somebody had to be like at fault if you were
Yeah.
going to get a divorce. But now it's like, nah, like we just don't want to be together no more. And it's cool. The courts accept that and they're okay with that. And so Medigo Politics, he's younger than us. So maybe he's being a little naive, but his mentality is, oh, well, that's kind of led to like the deterioration of marriage and society, this, that, and the third. But my mentality is, when you know somebody, like when you really want to know somebody who they are to the core, it's when they either have absolute freedom or absolute power. It's like what the person
Yeah.
is. It's like the people that like, there's a saying, a person's character by how they treat the people that they don't need to treat good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if you treat waiters like a piece of shit, or people that serve you like a piece of shit, well, you're a piece of shit because they're not higher than you and you don't seek to impress them, but yet your boss, you're kissing their ass and shit like that. Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You should treat everybody the same. But taking that same philosophy and you apply it to relationships, it's like, well, listen, if because no fault divorce was moved away, it was taken away, or rather implemented, rather, no fault divorce was implemented, and women started wilding the fuck out, if that's what you believe, well,
Maybe
that's
it's in
them
their
in their
nature.
natural state. So
Yeah.
I would never like seek to hold somebody's natural state down. Now, I don't want to spend the rest of my life with you because like that's all kind of drama and shit. But I'm not the guy saying here that like, no, women need to be in their place. No, wild out, do whatever you want to
Yeah.
do. But when you like find that nobody wants to like settle down with you or marry you, also don't complain either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Know the game you're playing and accept the rules that the game entails. Like, it's
hundred
fine. It's,
percent.
imagine if, like, we're playing NBA 2K and you're beating me, and I'm like, well, this is, you're a fucking cheater, and you're like, well, what do you mean? Oh, well, it's like you keep shooting threes and you keep making them, and I
It's
start
like, yeah, well,
complaining.
play some defense, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah, and so I'll be like, nah, man, nah, this ain't fair. It would sound stupid because it's like, well, no, strategize. You know, that's why it's always fun when we play Madden, because like no game ever looks the same.
yeah, because you know you gotta outthink the other person's strategy,
Yes.
especially when you know they're a strategist. That's why it's so fun. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but like if you've ever played Monopoly with people that actually like know about real estate and money, that it's a way different game. It's like, god damn, it's like, should I buy this because then this I might have an opportunity there. Like it's a very like intense experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like imagine playing Monopoly with like with like
Elon.
yeah, but he's not so much in real estate. I'm thinking more so like Grant Cardone.
Oh,
But,
all the real estate people.
yeah, let's just say, oh fuck, you know what I'm saying? Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
What's the other guy? With
I was about to ask you.
uh,
I know. Damn it!
fuck.
I
Chris
can't think of his
Hogan,
fucking.
Grant Cardone, Chris Hogan, and then the Ramsey.
Jordan, not Jordan Ramsey. Is it Jordan Ramsey?
Fuck,
Kevin Ramsey. Fuck, I don't remember.
people
Mr.
know who
Ramsey.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
because Grant Cardone and Ramsey, they have like a different philosophy.
yeah.
Way different philosophy. Then or having like fucking what's dude they've been on each other's show. Jaspreet Singh, and then the dude with the
Or Jaspreet, exactly. Yeah, and Graham Stephan, exactly. So Grant
like, how the
Cardone,
fuck?
Graham Stephan, yeah, it's like that'd be a wild ass game of Monopoly.
Hell yeah. who will win? Yeah. That's badass. But that's the thing about Kevin is like, whether you agreed with him, whether you didn't agree with him, whether you watched his channel or not, he did influence a lot of people. He did push like the Manosphere forward in a positive
Yeah.
way. It kind of reminds me of like back when we used to be in high school and we used to be like, oh, we used to have our list of rappers, and we used to, we're just naturally who we are. We're always like so detailed and really get into the nitty gritty of who each rapper is as a businessman, as a person, as a rapper, as a lyricist, as a songwriter, as an artist.
Yeah.
And so to me, this is kind of in the same realm for the Manosphere. It's like you appreciate Kevin Samuels for the time that he came, because he did put the Manosphere, move the Manosphere forward.
Yeah.
Whether you liked him, whether you agree with him, whether you didn't, it was like a really badass experience just watching some of his stuff.
Yep. I think you said that very well, and I think that's where we'll end it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Remember to check out our Tuesday episodes. It's on all podcast platforms every single Tuesday. We do not miss a Tuesday. So we'll see you guys Tuesday. We're out. Peace.
Peace.
If you like this stuff, make sure you check out our weekly Tuesday episodes on all major podcast platforms: Apple, Google, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Spotify. And while you're at it, follow us at Hanging with Apes on Twitter.